you're live.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the new business career series of GCI Island. And this week we have more guests, new topic, and we will have three guests. Actually, we have guests from different part of the world. Some of them are located in the same city in Cork Island, and other guests are located in Belgium. Hope. So let's just first kick off first with a quick introduction of them. So let's start with the man of the house. So Peter, if you can introduce yourself.
Oh yeah. Yes, I'm Peter. Actually, I had my own gym. Now I'm working actually for an international firm working for gyms. And during JCI, actually, I had my podcast, Peter Loves JCI Show. I also made podcast of JCI Change Your Game, a project during Corona. And now, actually, I'm starting up podcasts for the sector in the fit industry in Belgium and Netherlands. And so that's me.
Thank you very much. And then let's kick off with maybe Joe and then Junior after.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Hi, Pamela. I am Joe, and I am the founder of Good Day Cork, which is a multimedia house and an event space dedicated to amplify marginalized voices. Junior.
Thank you, Junior.
I couldn't do it more. Hi, everybody. My name is Junia Van Bell. I'm based in Cork, and recently I launched my podcast, On Fusion Podcast. It's a podcast that is focused on spirituality and entrepreneurship because Cork has a variety of different talents, and I think it was time to showcase them instead of focusing on Dublin.
That's a good point.
Yes.
Thank you guys for joining. Find the time to join this call. Everyone is busy and everyone and the time zone and everything. So let's just kick off with the first question. You have all of the three of you have like experience in podcasting. You have like depending and different topics and everything. And I wanted to first ask what do you think actually have been the challenge like in your journey in the podcasting journey? So maybe we can start first with let's say Junior and then Joe and then Peter and then we go back.
Okay, so to start with, as a podcaster, the first thing you need I want to highlight it's enjoyment, because what you plan is never what will happen in reality. So you need to enjoy every process of it. The challenge that I faced recently, for me, it was scheduling. Because there is a lot of post and pre-production to do. Content creation is taking a lot of time. The more you get used to it, the easier it's to do. So yeah, for me, the challenge at the beginning, because I'm really recent in the podcast industry, was what did I say? was
Scheduling, content
Yes,
creation.
content creation. Then after, you need to be as well confident to be out. So for me to have my guest, at the first step, it's me who's reaching out to them. But the more I go, I have as well people who are coming at me. So don't get discouraged if you don't have as well a positive answer straight away. Keep pursuing, keep the fight, and enjoy every step.
Thank you very much for sharing. And yeah, Joe,
Yeah.
what was the challenge for you?
I've been making podcasts for years now, on and off. There was once upon a time when I was making a podcast, a live show with a friend of mine, Emer. Emer and I, we used to make a weekly show, and then we realized that it's intense to make a weekly show, and then we changed the frequency of it. And right from then until date, the only challenge I have is that once you've recorded an interview, right, you step into a interview, you meet your guest, and you hope that you're going to talk about this, and then we talk about other things which are equally interesting. The editing after, how do we edit to ensure that the nuances aren't lost? That
Mhm.
has always been a challenge for me, continues to be a challenge after since I started in 2017, 2018. So yeah.
Editing
So,
tech. Oh, okay, that's
yeah.
a good point. So editing is a challenge for sure.
Yeah.
And you, Peter, in all the different area you work on podcasting, which challenge have you noticed?
Well, actually, when I started with podcasting, I did had no idea. I know how to talk. I didn't know how to podcast. So with that idea, I said, okay, let's try. So first, you have a personal fear, and I think this live is also for people encouraging to do podcasts. So fear, the mental, personal states, it will be actually the first step that you have to overcome. Well, is everybody somebody will listen to me? Yeah, because I think Junior and
Enjoy,
Joe,
yeah.
I think that you have the same question first. Like, what I'm talking about, is that interesting?
Yeah. Hmm.
Uh, because let's be honest, being on a podcast is being vulnerable. Uh, you give yourself a piece of yourself, so people can have ideas or comments on that. So that's the
Hmm.
first step you have to overcome. Um, then the second thing is the technical part. Which microphone I will use? Will I put actually a camera on me? Yes or no? Etc. Etc. I'm a clumsy person. Can I handle this? And then need the post and the pre and post production. You have to schedule it because you cannot just do it like, okay, I have a camera and roll. No, it doesn't work like that. The question need to be prepared. I have to know, understand where you go with the interview, and also, of course, after that you have the content. Are you going to make start a finish bumper like a melody or whatever to engage? How you gonna cut it, or you leave it blank and you have it like all in one? So these are a few things to think about. Then the content. Yeah,
So
don't have enough things to say, talk about. Well, actually, to be honest, after a kind of experience, you always have things to talk about. So that
Hmm.
is actually the least
Yeah,
problem.
that's so
And
true.
also, certainly, if you are interviewing people, they give you all the time very good content. And you
Yeah.
get the more you have, the more you do it, the easier it gets, the better your questions, and the better
Hmm.
the podcast. I think the other guests agree with that. I hope. And then, of course, the second thing is the continuity. For example, am I going to do this forever, or I do a series of 10 or 5, or about one certain topic, or for example, about my JCI chapter, for example, who's who, or the history. See, so these are a few things. But anyway, if you want to learn how to start a podcast, I have actually a video about that.
that,
um,
yeah,
I've made, so I will share later on over with you the
yeah.
link how to get there and to overcome all these fears. But at the end, and I think also the reward is very very nice. You get to meet a lot of nice people. Your vision get broader, and you get more experience and opening, staging yourself, etc. So that's
Nice.
a bit in short.
That's
What
the summary.
the
But
obstacles? Yes.
no, but that's great for sure. I've, all of you will share the link after of course on LinkedIn of your podcast for your link of your business page, and so people can have to get to know a bit more about what you're doing. But you said something interesting about the part of the I think it's the and actually Junior as well talk a bit about that, but it's really about I think the imposter syndrome as well because you can start something because and you say I know what I want to talk about. I know that something is important for me, that topic, but then you need to be like, okay, you have as well maybe those questions about, but am I the right person as well to talk about it? Of course, I can find the people, the guests who will talk about that, but am I as well the right person to represent that? So that's I think that's a lot of work that sometimes we need to overcome as well to be able to go outside because some people are easy behind the scene and behind the camera, and then it's depend of the way you do the podcasting. And actually, when I was talking about you, I want to know why podcasting for each of you. Like, if you have like a question, because you can do everything. There's so many other things on the world, but why podcasting?
I love
So
this question.
if you can share a bit, yeah, Joe. Yeah.
Yeah. I love this question. Why podcasting? For me, see, I did study media, for undergrad, and I in undergrad I was all geared to just at the end of the at the end of the undergraduation, I was going to be a journalist, but I've never. But immediately after that, I wanted to study public relations
Mm-hmm.
and get into communications. And then I did a corporate work, and I didn't fit in. It doesn't suit me. And then I've moved, changed gears, and gone into not for profit PR, developmental work. So that is my day job, and communications is all is I do that till the cows come home, as we say. And you know we're so images are very powerful to capture a story, to capture a journey. But there's something about listening to words that is, in my opinion, extremely powerful, because when we listen, all
Mm-hmm.
the other biases that come along with viewing something are gone away. So in theory, when we're listening, the message is received with a bit more openness, and all the filters that we have from visuals are gone away. So for me, listening is extremely powerful. And then of course they went and started putting videos into podcasts, and I'm like, oh god, here we go, why? But that has its own joys as well. And why do I do the podcasting? Because I really love radio, and I actually want to be able to produce shows. I never started podcasting with the intention to be the person on the mic. I wanted to be the person behind the scene, doing all that other bits, the scheduling and planning and producing and editing, and to some extent even promoting it. But actually being on the mic is not something is something that I care for as much. And that's why I like podcasting, because I also have this child who's got an incredible imagination who who can, just use their words to transport us to other places without the need of visuals. That's why I'm very drawn to radio and podcasting as a medium. So I hope that helps. I hope the others also feel the same. I don't know.
Absolutely,
And
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, Junior, as well, if you can share why podcasting in all the option that you could have done, you can use to share what you want to share.
Why podcasting? I've always been passionate by communication, languages, and travel. And the more I travel, the more it humble myself, because I discover people with a powerful story that are really encouraging and push you to go through life, to experiment life. And after traveling a year in the Caribbean, I've been working for 3 years actually on the podcast before putting myself out. So the imposter syndrome, like you just mentioned at the beginning, and then I saw as well called Change a Lot, and I was like, yeah, this is it. You need to be out even though that you are not ready. And I think that it's a growing industry as well, so it's important to be aware of that. There are so many ways to present your business, not only podcasting, but podcasting can be adding value for the venture or venue that you have already. So all of this pushed me to go to podcasting, because I'm someone who is really creative. I love communicating. I have that tendency that I'm able to gather people together, and I make them comfortable as well. So it's all about showcasing people, giving them the opportunity to tell their story because diversity is something really important too as well. In nowadays, we highlight that in so many sectors, private or public, and to really have the concrete example and as well have the facility to listen whatever you want. Because podcasting doesn't oblige you to fully listen the full audio or the full video. You can get it whenever you want. So it's adding value for the business. And yeah, so this is why I choose podcasting, and I'm really enjoying that journey.
Thank you for sharing. And you, Peter, if you have, why did you? Of course, you have a normal day job and everything, and as well in your new job, you are trying to, trying to incorporate the
Yeah.
podcasting part. So, but why podcasting? Why did you
So
choose?
actually, it's all starting in JCI experience, an organization which I love very very much. And I was also part of JCI Ireland myself. So, but during Corona, as my gym was closed, one of the measurements of the Corona, um, I started to discover the power of marketing, digital marketing. So I started almost 10 days after the lockdown with a JCI webinar. It's called JCI Change Your Game. And so we had a guest invited talking about all kind of topics to empower young people to create positive change. Um, and it was all video. It was great and very intensive to work, etc., etc. But what I saw is that once that the live was done, the after effect was very low because people mostly didn't rewatch or watch later on videos. Uh, So I was thinking like, what could be a better medium to improve that? And so I came actually only with the audio. I don't know what you're doing, but I'm in the car often for my work, and I listen to podcasts about all kind of topics. Is it from a magazine? Is it from the radio? Is it about murder mysteries? Is it about I don't know what? Something that interests me. With video, you don't have that. You have to watch. You have to sit and watch it. See, and as our attention span is getting smaller and smaller, I thought like, hey, why not podcasting? And I personally had an experience in radio making. As a teenager, I worked for radio. I also as a student radio. I'm not like that. It seems I have a radio voice, so in a way, that could be interesting. So I said, let's do it. And so what I just discussed about all the fears, I all went through them, and at the end I did it. And but for me is it also, and actually I want to connect with Joe. And during World War II, people only had radio. And when they were sending in from London to, for example, in Belgium, it was a direct hit. It directed hit the information, but also hits your heart. So you have a very intimate medium. You really can connect. It feels like if I'm talking to you right now and you only hear my voice, you think I'm talking to you personally. And you're not biased by what I'm wearing, how I look, maybe only with my accent, maybe. But anyway, you get used to that after a few podcast episodes. But it's really the intimate medium. And I like it because you can go in depth. With
Oh,
video, you don't have that. People are not going to listen half an hour, watch half an hour to an interview because they
nice.
have to take time for that. While a medium like podcasting, it's flexible. You can choose when you do it, and it's also trending. Why? Because, and I think Joe and Junior also see it that people are more creating their own media. They're not watching linear, for example. They say, "Oh, I watch this show. I'm going to listen to that podcast," and so they create their own package of media consumption. Yes, I think podcast is really fitting in that, and I
That's
like to
really,
do it myself. So
yeah, and you need to like it for sure. Because it take a lot of time and energy, and that's a lot.
yeah,
So you need to like it at least. And actually, you talk about marketing, and I wanted to let's just try to give the viewer today like some maybe tips when you talk about marketing. And I wanted to ask each of you, because you have different totally audience they are totally different. You have different topics, so they are not the, they are not the same, so they are looking for something different. So if you have one key strategy that you use actually to promote your podcast, which one did you use? One of the key, because I'm sure that would be a different one you have to use. If you can, maybe first, Junia, start with one strategy that you use to promote your podcast.
Yes, no problem. I wouldn't give my all my tips, guys. To be honest. But first of all, it's about creating quality content to start with. Based on the focus that you will go. If you want to go to entrepreneur, for me, and spirituality, you need to be topic that is talking to you. So it's easier. It's easier to create after. Because if you don't have quality content, people won't coming back. And you need to create value for the listener. So it's really the primary objective before putting any strategy. And then after, it's about learning the basic for sure. Make sure that um, you have to try. There is no wrong and there is no right. My mentor talked about the ultimate successful formula, which is about leverage your social strategy. So first and foremost, it's about having the primary objective, knowing what it's your podcast will be talking about. Once you know that, then after you can move to the next step, which is about taking action. And that's why you put your strategy. If you want to put ads using Google Ads, if you want to have flyers, have a public event, this kind of thing, all those action will shed your strategy. And on those action, you need to be as well aware of what it works. If it works, good, keep doing it and improving it. If it doesn't work, that's fine. Don't blame yourself too much either. Take the time to review and keep going. So that's the process that I will say to in terms of strategy. Then there are so many social media as well. So every social media has a different strategy. That's what I learned for me. For example, using YouTube, because I do podcast and podcast. It's a personal choice as well by using those media. But I discovered that the strategy that I had in my head for YouTube was way more complex from what I thought, because for YouTube you need to look at the algorithm, you need to look at the thumbnail, you need to look at the SEO as well. So all of this, again, for me, you learn the way as you make your podcast. So yeah, that's it for me.
Thank you for sharing. I like when I ask you one and you give almost everything, so that's good. People will will be like, okay, that's keep going, just share. It's like a master class today, but yeah, keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, and oh yeah, Joe. So if you have as well one or more strategy,
The strategy I use is word of mouth. That's what I have, and I think that's a long way. Do you know what I mean? But word of mouth is the way to go for the nature of Good Day Cork. It's about sharing it and sharing it. And I almost always say this, and I've spoken to Pamela about this as well. I want to operate in a world, or I want to operate as if I live in a world where social media does not exist. So we're listening to podcasts, and there's so much of choice fatigue online, right? And then I get stuck in that race of how am I gonna grab the attention, and even that I grab the attention. It's so desperate for the ethos from which Good Day Cork operates. So it's like a slow and steady. It's like a stew. It's slow and steady. There's so many. Good Day Cork has produced our latest documentary. It's okay to not be okay, and all. And then we had a previous two documentaries last year, Potential and Kitchen Stories, and it was all good old press and a word of mouth, and be consistently reminding people of it, to build the connections of how one can engage with this documentary or podcast. And that is something, we've got to help people and nudge them, only because there's choice fatigue out there. So word of mouth and being consistent, as opposed to just going boom all at one go and then is all forgotten about. And if you've got more people on your team to help you with that, then it is a blessing. It's very powerful. So when I'm working on Good Day Cork, it's usually just me and one other person who comes on as a project, they're managing the project. And so then you can imagine, I always say all the Good Day Cork podcasts and documentaries are very handmade. Do you know what I mean? They're very organic and handmade, and so there's attention to detail and there's care, and what has worked for it is word of mouth. And it also, to echo what Junia is saying, it matters why you're creating what you're creating. When we understand we're creating for, when we understand the intention of creating any type of content, even when we write an essay, why are we writing this? And yes, of course, how it adds value, but remembering why we're doing something, that will guide us to create a strategy, quote unquote, to get people to pay attention to it. And again, I'll repeat, because there's choice fatigue, we ourselves then develop marketing fatigue because you're like, oh, this is it's like a losing battle. And the reason why I'd like to operate in a world where social media does not exist is because the algorithms are constantly changing. So by the time you've caught on to one trend, the trend has changed. So you're chasing something. You're trying to score a goal, but the goalpost keeps moving. So so I'm like, nah, just keep talking about it with other people, and um yeah, and then see how it goes. Which again, it doesn't suit all types of businesses, but for Good Day Cork, that's how it works anyway.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree that every business are totally different. They work
Yeah.
differently. They have different as well need, and they want to reach some, different people and try to touch people as well in different ways. So, of course, if every business was doing that, we're doing the same as well
Yeah.
as stores. At some, that was the point. So now, yeah, I totally understand that, and the trend is changing constantly. I agree. So it's like always, it's like you spend more time trying to learn the new trend, to keep updated about the new trend, and that you maybe will lose time trying to find what a better content of, trying to find, like the future guest of something like this. So that's true. Like the
Yeah.
time consuming
Yeah,
for sure.
because one of my favorite podcasters is Dr. Rangan Chatterjee, and when he's like a doctor, right? And he's got this incredible podcast about well-being and helping us all to to live our to live our life the way we want to, and there's a great scope of guests. It's incredible, and they're hour-long episodes. And another great podcast that used to take place is the On Being podcast, which is, again, what I loved about the On Being podcast is the edited version, and you get to listen to the unedited version. Can you imagine? I'm like, wow, I love that. And I always go for, let's listen to the unedited version. But they all have massive teams helping them, helping the podcast be what it really needs to be, and that's because that's their intention. So when you're starting small, and you've got a business of whatever size, when you're starting, pay attention to the resources you're going to have. How much are you going to invest in the resources? Are you going to do it all by yourself? Are you going to have a friend? Are you going to ask for favors? Are you going to pay them? There's loads of questions you've got to ask as a business to make sound decisions, and that will help anyone form a marketing strategy.
Nice. And now, so for sure, we talk about marketing. So because you jumping in that, Peter, but so if you can give maybe one as well, share one key strategy that can be helpful, to advertise, the podcast. And as well, I wanted to jump in the marketing side and be like, okay, now when you're like you have a business, let's say now you work for a business who has a top some like in different field, but now you're trying to integrate a podcasting. How do you do that? Because I think as well for like Junior started with proper podcast for properly, but now Peter is like okay, trying to integrate the podcasting. And as well you, Joe, you had like you have a magazine as well at the same time. So Peter, if you maybe can share a bit first about the strategy, and then as well just how is it, the challenge, and and how do you start a podcast when you have from a business already established.
Yeah, Pamela, I will try it. I have heard a lot of stuff. I would say Juna and Joe actually told everything. So I will actually add one piece, and I will relate it to then more the business side. Then I think that the key is audience and value for audience. Um, that's a thing that you have to put in mind. Like, what is my? It's a typical thing in digital marketing or marketing in general. Who are the kind of persons I would like to address? Who will be interested in what I'm saying? And that is even more important if you actually start from a real business perspective. For example, my podcast will be more about gym owners, people in the fit industry, um, physios, all this kind of persons who are busy with actually making people healthier. And they have actually issues, questions, struggles, and understanding them will actually also give the subjective content what I'm talking about and the guest that will be in my show. You see? And that is actually the key. You can talk about anything you want, but understand for who you're talking about too. Because if that doctor that Joe is talking about, he's talking to people who are struggling with well-being, with finding balance in life, etc., etc. So he understands his audience and their struggles and their obstacles and their gains and their losses. Because this medium is really going very direct to the heart. So from a business perspective, this is interesting. Why? Because you can create, and that is what you really have with podcasting, an engaging audience. People like to relate. If you ask them, hey, react on this, on that, they will react. And then you have to interact. Because from that interaction, and I understand Joe that she's not really a big fan of the socials, etc., etc. You don't need to have that. You can create organically with the people you start with. They discover you, then they talk with their peers about your podcast, and in this way, it's growing like a whole stain, so or rippling like a drop in the sea. So, but focus on that audience, and the same from a business perspective, it's good clients, potential clients, and when you talk about their struggles and obstacles, then you hit the button, the button, not the bottom, the button, and then you touch them, and then they will interact, they will be interested, and then they will be interested in your services for sure. Because they actually, before they contact you, they already know you a bit. And it's that because business is not only with robots or services, it's about connecting with people.
That's
So,
great. Yeah.
and last thing of value I just drop in this is also branding. A part of branding of your service, your business, what you of yourself. If you have a personal business, it's yourself.
Yeah, I just wanted to add it all depends on the nature of the business model because, like Peter mentioned, and like you mentioned as well, Pamela, some people start the podcasting by going on a Zoom link and it work properly. And some people want already establish the brand and make the podcast not a leisure things, but a proper business. So based on that, you will evolve and you will take the decision to upscale the business without, I remind again, putting too much pressure on yourself because podcasting is a learning journey. You learn about yourself, you learn about so many different tools that you are not aware, you learn new skills, and you learn as well communication and motivational strategy skills, because you learn how to interview people or to maintain the conversation. So just be aware of the business model that you have, and then it will lead on the type of podcast that you want to create.
Yeah, and maybe I can just one tip is actually don't look at the numbers,
Mm-hmm.
because the amazing thing about podcasting is if you don't have instant success, it doesn't mean you have late success,
Yeah.
because people can find you.
Yeah, that's so true. And again, the fact that you mentioned the numbers, it's not about the numbers at all, because you can have a big amount of number, but not have, how do you call them, an audience.
Yeah,
Yeah,
retention.
retention. Yeah, retain
Yeah,
audience. So if you have 500 followers, but you only have five people who are following and responding to your post, it means that it's unbalanced. So the numbers doesn't mean anything. Again, you need to grow gradually.
Yeah.
So it's about organic and trying to retain and not,
yeah,
rush for nothing. That's
Yeah.
offer get followers and not retain them in the future, right?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, the reason why I like radio, and that Peter also said, I love that word, intimate. When we're in people's ears, in that phase, we're literally in the ears. And of course, if it's a vlog or a podcast like Junior, people, there are people who enjoy watching, because there's something about watching a video with subtitles that will help people get from A to B. You want them to get to A to B, they will go to
Mhm.
A to B just because there are subtitles. It's incredible. And so when we're so intimate with people, we we really, it's a moment to capitalize on. And I hate that word, but there's potential there. That's what I want to say. There's potential there to build something really close and soft with the person. And we, it's we're all human beings. We crave for connection, and the podcast is that space. When we're in the ears of people, it is that space to build a connection, with a brand, to build a connection with a person who represents a brand. And in this day and age, thankfully, slowly, there is a shift of not just what the product or the business or what the service is, but also what are the values of this organization, this business, and whatever. And how can a business bring the values into a conversation, is what all customers, all clients, all content consumers are looking for. How so when we talk about adding value and share of voice in a market, using all those terms that there are, and people can look them up anywhere, right? But at the end of the day, it is about building a connection with the person who is consuming your content, and your hope is that they've liked the story, they're going to share it. The best win is when they signpost other people to listen to the podcast, which is why even YouTube
absolutely.
now, yeah, isn't it? And even now YouTube and even our podcast, all our sharing platforms allows us to share particular clips. So you see how intimate it is, that you're like, oh my God, I love what they said. And it's about people listening to it in leisure. And then they'll come back to it. They can they can bookmark it, they come back to it, and they can share it just that bit. And that's what we want as creators. We want people to engage with it so personally that metrics can't even freaking understand how to measure that stuff. Do you know?
No, because
Yeah,
it's human.
yeah, exactly.
That's why.
Yeah.
No AI can do that.
No, no, there's no need to be worried about AI at all. And
That's what actually that was the topic. I will go very, very fast after that, but just before I forget my question, and then we go to
yeah,
that topic because I want to
yeah.
talk about technology. How do you see technology and podcasting? But before that, I just really wanted to know about the second question was the second part of my question was how, when you come from established business, how to introduce the podcasting, like if you want,
Oh.
to reach out to that, to touch as well, because let's say some people are more focused on let's say TV or radio stuff, and other people might be interested in podcasting. So you reach as well to other people who love the podcasting. So how do you integrate podcasting from a established business?
It comes
Peter.
down to why. Sorry, yeah, it
No, no,
comes
no,
down
no,
to
no,
the
no.
why.
Yeah, no, no.
That's all I'll say. It comes down to why does the business want to do a podcast? What is it that they want to achieve? And there can be layers as well. It could be a primary goal and then a secondary goal, and then you would, the more you spend time on understanding why you want to use this medium, why do you want to get into someone's ears, then you'll be able to slowly figure it out. Anyway, yes, Peter, tell us.
No,
Well,
no,
actually, you told it already, Joe. I have an impression that you can read my mind. Yes.
No.
No, actually true. It's why.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
and
why did I
okay,
start or transform from video to podcast? Why? To reach more people.
Mhm. Yeah,
To
yeah.
actually the value that my guest gave, to spread it more, to make it more available. So if you have an established brand and you have really interesting value to share, yeah, that's just an extra of the part of the big branding of your business, personal business, corporate business, what it is, even the government business of government, let's say.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's as long as there's value and you have people to create it, that's also important.
Yeah.
Um,
yeah,
then it's okay.
but
Um,
actually, yeah,
you
yeah.
want to ask how to do it, the
No, no, no,
how.
no, 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 no. It's not especially about that actually, because I wanted to go back now to what you say, guys, and you say it's about the why and if you want to reach more people. But do you, all of you now, will you say that all the business should do that at some point? Of at some, it's really not all the business will need to do that, because
Uh,
let's say if I want to
Oh.
start and be like, oh, I want to be everywhere, but we cannot be everywhere. So will you advise someone who start like a normal business about, let's say, clothes, of no, yeah, let's say street clothes, but want to talk about the story history, about the fabric, about as well about maybe story about the street clothes and everything. Maybe he want to share the history about the music and hip hop around that. Let's say an example.
mhm.
Would you as well advise to that person to do that, to start maybe a podcasting as well about that, because to reach more people?
Can I just make a joke? Sorry, Julia. If businesses have the money and they're thinking about doing podcasts, can they first identify existing podcasts that are struggling and sponsor them? Thank you very much.
I love it.
You're talking about
I'm
Julia
like,
again.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Julia would love some sponsorship, wouldn't you, Julia?
I agree, I agree. You hear me out?
I'm, like put an ad in Junior's one, because businesses can actually go that's actually jokes aside, that is a way to do it. They can look at podcasts that their clients and their customers are tuned into and approach those podcast creators. The more local it is, the better. Well, I'm like, organic,
Mhm.
local, but better. And then approach Junior, the likes of Junior, and also Baby Good Day Park, and be like, well, Junior, who's the next guest you're talking to? Is there a section that somehow we can sponsor if you guys talk about something like this? So this
Mhm.
is this is very normal. This happens on Dr. Rangan Chatterjee's podcast as well. So yeah, before they go all out and start creating their own podcast, maybe they should start spending money on incredible creators. And three of us an idea. you know?
That's a
I
good
can
one.
add something on that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'll tell you that, for example, Pizza Cork won't be really having impact maybe in making a podcast.
Yeah.
But they would actually, if they want to sell more pizzas, would, let's say, in their marketing strategy, should think about maybe indeed sponsoring a podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know if you do that, but if you watch, for example, television, you do fast forward. But what I've seen is actually that on a podcast, you don't do that. because the
Mhm.
commercial is very small, and when you found the button, it's already passed by and it's
Yeah.
continuous. So the impact is bigger. And certainly, if you're a local podcaster, you can really look for local advertisers.
Yeah.
It's a more creative, and as podcast is an intimate way, you have more impact
Wow, that's really great.
supporting local creators.
Yeah.
So, not a bad idea, Joe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. And I'm saying it because when we create podcasts and we create documentaries, we look for people to sponsor it. And we do go to small businesses. Now, the thing is, how does a podcaster like Junia, me, Peter, how do we decide who are we going to allow in our sacrosanct space? Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So Good Day Corp is very particular about the values. So if the business's values are aligning with Good Day Corp's values, and then we approach them and then we ask them, and then we do create that ad format and mention them in the within the remit of the podcast. And then also when we send our press release, we say that this was supported by this business. So that it does work. It does work. I would love for, at least in Cork, more and more people to do that. Sorry, Junia is aching to say something. Sorry, Junia.
No, no, I wanted to say the same thing that you said about collaborating and cross promotion, because I think as a podcaster, we always think as well to invite guests or entrepreneur or based on the topic, but inviting as well other podcaster is a benefit. You know, we are learning, we are exchanging between each other on what work, what doesn't work. And as well using discovery for business with already established or as a podcaster, it's yeah, discovery dictionary, no, discovery, where you can
Discovery.
put yeah, discovery, where you can put your podcast, and then after they are broadcasting on different channels, can be Spotify, Google Podcast, this kind of thing. So it helps you as well to delegate, you know, because it's so important to not be a control freak like I used to be. I'm learning during that journey to delegate.
Don't be perfect if you do
Yeah,
podcast.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
for saying that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Because that's
there's no room for perfection
no, no.
in
please
The
this.
that's
opposite, the opposite.
ne-
Yeah.
people need to
To
keep
save your
something
life.
today is about that. Please.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's really. And when you
Yeah.
invite other podcaster, you invite as well a new audience, new listener, and a new potential lead. So cross promoting each other is really
Exactly.
excellent, and it helps you as well to create a new social media strategy, to start a newsletter, a newsletter as well, opportunity to have a new listener, new audience. So yeah, that's it for me.
Wow. That's
Thank you,
really
Junior.
great. That's
Yeah.
Okay,
really great,
I'm going
guys.
to work now.
Yeah. Yeah. I know, right? You're
I
like,
already, my head is full of information already. So
yeah, mine too. I'm just like, oh, I dropped the ball there, but you just said it's okay to not be perfect, so that's fine, okay?
okay, I'm
That-
going to visit all the pizzerias and the kebab for my fit podcast.
Yeah, well, wouldn't that be something? That'd be really something. That'd be really something.
People need to
Everyone will
be
be, yeah.
exactly. And guys, that's actually both of you, all the three of you, give like so many different. Apart some there was some main information, of course, because at some point it's some main information, but you always
Mhm.
all the three give you some different as well information that people maybe didn't think about, and that's really great. And actually, I know we could spend 3 hours. Let's just
Mhm.
I have the last question that we can with all the three of you. I know I will spend more hour
We
with you. I
continue
don't
in the
know
podcast.
exactly.
Yes.
I like so yeah. Well, like you're not. Let me finish my question.
Sorry, Pamela.
Yeah. So oh my god, but three of you, we need to discuss about that actually, like our partnership, all the three, to do something.
Can be
But my
funny.
question was for each one of you now before we finish. If you have like we have few minutes, huh? So let's say someone want to start a podcast or just starting a podcast.
Mhm.
Which advice will you give him as one advice will you give that person that you didn't share already? and as well, how can that person as well be, survive and navigate in, like in a really, really competitive landscape of, podcasting, like not more than ever. Let's maybe kick off with Junior, and then and then you can add all the value you want, and then we go to Joe, and then Peter.
Thank
So
you.
yeah,
Thank you for the honor, Pamela. I keep hanging on right now.
no, okay.
So,
Well, I won't leave.
so I will answer the first question because there are several questions in your question. So, encourage somebody who's gonna start in the podcast industry. First of all, like I mentioned at the beginning, enjoy the process, enjoy what you are doing, create quality content. So it means that topic that you would like to be heard, yeah. So like I said, you create value for your listener, and they enjoy to come to see you, to listen to you. So it's about enjoying. Failure is not a failure, it's a stepping back, come back, because you learn new things. I always say as well, we tend to see big at the beginning and to put a lot of pressure on us. But make it simple. I know it's easy to say, but really hard to apply. But simplicity will make it easy for you. And don't forget your network, because your network is your net worth. And you might have people that are gonna give you another overview of what you could create, give you insights, and it's gonna shift you to a different perspective that you might not even imagine that you are capable to do or to create. So it's always good to have a constructive feedback. I mentioned constructive because you will have haters as well. So hater like to hate, so keep pushing forward as well. No, but that's true, because it's a competitive world. With the fact that equipment in terms of podcasting are more accessible than in the past. So with just an iPhone you can create your own podcast. So, and the content are more creative with AI as well. So all of this can be a fear for you to jump into it. But at the end of the day, the podcast is your vision, and it's to empower others. So when you find your crew, your tribe, you're ready to go and keep shaping the vision.
Thank you very much. That was, I think people will watch that and take a lot of notes for about today. So, okay, Peter, you can go because I let you for the last, so I will let you go.
Well, actually, I heard like Junior many questions in one big question.
Yeah, you know.
So it's like a cluster bomb or something that you're throwing at us right now. So let's try with one question. You're talking about the competitive
Yeah,
podcasting
landscape. Yeah.
scene.
Mm-hmm.
I have actually completely another opinion about this. You would think now, oh, they have podcasts about everything.
Mhm.
Well, if I'm looking right now about little cute doggies with curly tails and how to breed them and how to care for them, etc. I don't find a podcast about that. No, so there's still room for this kind of pod. No, no, I'm just joking. Um, at the end, you can have podcasts of any topic, really
Yeah.
any topic. Some that's just the amazing thing about it. You always found people who said, "Yeah, 5 tips how to clean up." I have no idea about.
Mhm.
So, well, there start. It's my passion to clean. It's my passion to talk about one juridical aspect, emerging, etc., etc. So you can talk about anything. So the sky is the limit. In so you always have to find a public. So don't think about. Don't think. Oh, they said already something about fitness. No, there's so many details you can go into. So anyway, um, it's actually like Junior said, and like earlier in this in the live was said, in this video was said, the steps that you go have to go through. And also what I said, I gave in JCI also how to start with podcast, where I go actually through all the steps. So in a way, with Pamela, or you can just book me for a presentation in your local chapter or in your business. But anyway, if you're thinking about it, I would say give it a try.
Well, that's nice. Really, really nice. And like I said before, guys, if you're watching today, thank you for watching. I'll offer watching after, and they will all of them send the link, share the link, in the GCI Island page, so you will be able to to reach out to them, to see what they do, to learn more about them. So yeah, and they have totally different experience, so you never know what you can learn, because I think it's about meeting different people and learn new things, and that's
Yeah.
how we grow. And just to say, you give maybe someone an idea about the dog one, podcasting. That can be
That's
something.
a really cute idea. Yeah.
That's something. Wow, I was like, okay, actually, I see people be like, "Oh yeah, I want to listen to that," So yeah,
Yeah.
that's a bad
Yeah.
idea. We need to think about
Yeah.
that. And
Go
yeah,
to jail
Joey.
podcast.
Yeah. Um, my thing, the tip that I want to give people is to focus, once after you figure out why and all of that, and you're finally in front of the mic, you've gotten over imposter syndrome, or or you live with it and you still get to the microphone and da, da, da.
Mm.
See, the podcast is like, when you decide your format, no matter what the format is, my suggestion would be about, if you're interviewing someone, have open-ended questions. Don't have leading questions.
Mhm.
And when we have open-ended questions, and when someone is and your guest is speaking, as human tendency, depending on the culture you've grown up in, but mostly when we're listening to someone, because when most likely when we're interviewing them, even though your final podcast is only, let's say, audio, so in that visual communication that's going on for an audio product, as the interviewer, we might tend to interject. Listen to all FM radio. The interviewer is constantly interjecting. Stop doing that. And my friend Emer trained me how to do that. Is like, just stop it. And when you listen back to my old interviews, you can hear me interject so much. And now over years, the
Mhm.
there's less of that. And the reason why that's important is because someone has come to listen to what the guest is saying, and if we interject them, it's not so good, because I totally understand our need to add to that sentence, but if we are asking questions, we've got to stay in the role of asking questions. Our opinion is not as important as the guest's answers and expertise, let's say, or their experience of something. That's if we're using the format of interviewing people. And of course, if it's only you're doing a solo interview and you're talking, geez, go talk away till, as we say, as I keep saying, till the cows come home, no problem. But then you're going to again have problems with editing, right? So you've got to have a loose structure that you're going to hit this, and the more present you are in that conversation, even if it's me talking to an audience, we don't know who that looks like. Have a structure to keep yourself on track, because that will help you to create quality content, which will then be marketable, yada yada yada, so the way we create the content really really matters. And that's my tip.
Wow, that's
Very
actually
long one.
Yes.
that's a really good one, actually, because as well we need to think sometimes, maybe, yeah, like you say, we want to talk, and then someone shares something and we're like, yeah, but we want really to interact, but I think that audience as well come for the guest as well at the same time, want to know more about the guest and what and the topic around that, so, and
Yeah.
not especially about us. So that's so true. And so we are at the end, guys. 1 minute, you have 1 minute each of you. 1 minute, huh?
No
If
more.
you can tell me, what do you think, like, is it do you think AI will bring a benefits, or will be like challenge for podcast in the future? top chrono. Peter, yeah, you can.
I'm actually a gentleman, so I'd like to give my spot to the ladies first.
Okay, Junior, what do you think about AI and benefit or challenge for the future?
For being a woman work in the IT and hybrid cloud, AI is I'm not gonna bitch on AI, you know. Sorry. So AI is good. Definitely, it's good. It helps you in terms of you need to use it as a tool, but not as a referent, I would say, because it helps you to facilitate some task, to go into a deepness that you might not have the facility to go. So it's good to use it, but always remind yourself that you need to guide the tools to get what you want. And it will never add your own flavor, your own personality. So it can help you to optimize some task and gain time, but it will never replace the way you speak to your audience, the way you interact with them, the way you're going to reach your lead, and this kind of thing. That need to come from you as a podcaster. That's what I have to say.
Well done. 1 minute. Super perfect. No, that was really great. Actually, that's true. Because AI cannot change as well. You know, be you and be the how you naturally you are when you speak and your emotion and everything at some
Mhm.
point. I think. And you, Joe, as Peter is gent.
Yeah, AI. There's the ethics of AI. So you've got to. I'm still trying to figure out the ethics of AI. But then turns out I've already started using AI long before it's become even more mainstream. Like
Mhm.
when we get transcripts, that's there's AI involved in that for the transcripts, and so it's a good thing. And I totally echo what Junia is saying. AI has its place, but the human being creating it is very much
Mhm.
at the center of creating podcasts. So yeah, like all technology, there's good stuff and not so good stuff.
Nice, nice. Yeah. And you, Peter?
Yeah, actually, I would never replace myself by AI because then my jokes would even more bad. Uh, so no, I would actually, of course, we already digitizing already, and with AI we going even further. And like also echo to Joe with it, ethics, etc., etc. Recently, I read about a teacher who gave feedback by using ChatGPT, which was not a good idea. Um, no, you're a human being and you're unique in that.
Mhm.
But of course, it helps you to get routine work out of your hands. And like you said, transcriptions, etc., etc. Let's make a big deal, then do it manually and listen to it. So use it wisely, I would say, but also before you use AI, digitize yourself also in the process. AI is not wonder tool if you are not already there in digitizing yourself. So
Mhm.
that's my
True.
point of view.
Nice, 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 nice. I think after this video, I will think about listening and do a podcast maybe one day. I have all the tools. That was really great. But thank you, guys. Seriously, thank you, Peter, Junia, and Joe for this
You're
evening.
welcome. Thank
I
you,
really enjoyed.
Pamela.
And of course, guys, if you want to learn more about podcasting, you have Peter. He will put his link later on the LinkedIn page of GCA Island. Joe as well has the Good Day Cork if you want to, you're based in Cork of Ireland, if you outside Ireland, if you want to learn more about what she does. And that's really some impacting some topics on her, her page and what she shared. And it's really about human, actually, at some point, it's really about human. I think that's about
Yep.
what the content she provide. And Junia is really on fire on the moment, like everywhere, with a lot of guests, different level, and she's and I like Joe say, you can if you have like a sponsorship, and you have like the value follow
We talk about
value
before.
that you follow her. You can thank you, Joe, for the visual, but yeah, that's yeah, she's there, she's in Cork, and as well represents the community. And guys, both of you. three of you. We cannot have the same people, the three of you in the same place. But I really, that was,
Appreciate for the presentation. Fine.
but I really enjoyed. No, seriously, three of you have like totally different activity, but you have the same at least love for podcasting, and you shared so much today. And I wanted to thanks again to the people who watch. And if you will
Thank
watch
you.
another day, add comment if you want. As reach out to them. They are available on I think a lot of social media. Yeah, and then let us know if you have any question. Reach out to me if you need. If you cannot reach out to them directly, and I will send the question and everything to them. So, guys, thank you very much. I will.
Thank you,
Thank
Pamela. Thank
you.
you for
Bye
Thank
having me.
you.
It was a pleasure. Take
bye.
care.
Yes, it's
Bye.
good. It's great. Thank
And
you.
go
Ciao.
podcasting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Looking forward.